Tijuca 44. So I'm waiting for all the cameras to start up, okay? Forgive me for starting late. OMG. So we're gonna go till 9:15. Since I started a few minutes late, by a few minutes, I mean 17. I am cooking. I'm going to be making, guys, soft shell crab cake, okay? And listen to me. The worst part about it is that I'm making soft shell crab cake, but ask me if I've ever made it in my life. Nope, never in my life. But I've had this craving out of complete control, okay? I've had this craving for like soft shell crab cake. Oh, thank you for missing me, but I have no idea who you are, you losey. But yeah, so guys, I have this like intense craving for like soft shell crab. And like, I don't want it at like a, you know, Yangonese restaurant. Like I want it like, you know, like some really, really just, I don't know, like really gourmet soft shell crab, okay? Hi, Ivory. Oh, it's Ivory, that's the name. Fun. And then I'm going to, you know, I'm going to make it simple. This is a snack. You know, when I go in, guys, I go in, right? We have like 9-course meals in this house every day. But I'm actually going to do a snack. It's going to be like soft shell crab over like sauteed lemon butter, spinach, and wine. Now back to the exact. Oh my God, that rhymed. Now back to the exact. Now back to the exact. What's that? Too fast. All right. So you know, guys, the premises of Mushiya Uncut, because I love to eat and I love to watch other people eat my food, and then I like to talk shit, is we're gonna talk a whole lot and then cook a whole lot, okay? Remember, when I get this, when I figure this out, I'm gonna start giving you guys my menus in advance so that like you guys can like purchase the ingredients for the recipe that I'm gonna make for that week, so that you can cook with me, so that we can talk shit together while we cook together and then eat together. Everything is done together. This hair though. I don't know, I'm sure there's gonna be hair in my food tonight, but it'll add to the taste because it's runway curls. Hello, entanglement collection. And this one is the seducer, guys. Just so you, if you're wondering what exact wig I'm wearing, this is the seducer, part of the entanglement collection, which PS is out for a limited amount of time. You know, it comes and goes, and it's about to leave in like a few days. So February 30th is the last day for the entanglement collection. So you want to immediately purchase it at runwaycurls.com before it disappears. So I don't know who was here when I had my other conversation. When I did my last show, we're doing a continuation of the last show. I don't remember. I don't know who was here, but I'll give you a recap. Okay. In a few minutes, I'll give you a recap on what we discussed last show because I have a follow-up. Okay. As you guys know, my middle child, you know, I have small, medium, and large, and my medium child underwent a word. My medium child underwent a situation, that's not even a word, I'm sure it's not a word, underwent a situation that made me have to USA because it was really super racist, and I don't really call out racism very easily, so if she is calling out racism, trust and believe someone called for shit went down, okay? So anyway, needless to say, I had to handle the situation, and I'm going to follow up with you guys because, woo, my goodness. When I wrote them that first email asking, well, I guess I might as well just tell you guys. I mean, hello, I am Queen. Hello, Glamamy. Hello, Jenny CC. Hi, Tandra, Charlie. Hello. So, if you guys recall from last week, my daughter had a project to do, a wax museum project to do, where she had to choose a person to do her wax museum project on and do a presentation on and come and dress like them. The two criteria were that the person had to have left a positive legacy as well as is dead now. My daughter chose Aaliyah, and the teacher said, no, that's rap. You can't do that. Rap is bad. Oh, so for all of you who were on my show last week, you know very well that I was, on fire, to say the least. So while you guys simmer on that, I think I'm gonna start prepping my food. Remember, guys, I've never made soft shell crab. Okay, so that's what I'm making today. And by the end of the show, it'll be made, and I promise you it'll taste good because I'm gonna figure that shit out. And well, I would love for you guys to be here to taste and eat it, but since you're not, just pretend to, and next time get the ingredients so that you can cook. All right? So, wow. Let me wash my hands real fast because they've been in my hair this entire time, which, like I said, I'm very sure I'm going to be eating crab cake, soft shell crab over spinach with a little bit of runway curl seducer in it. It's safe. That's how good it is. It's safe to eat. All right. So, I have a guest, by the way. That's really exciting for me today because it's the first time I'll be bringing on a guest. So I have a guest about midway through the show that I'm going to be bringing in, who is actually a colleague of mine. He studies African American. I forgot. I'll let him introduce himself, but. Everything that's going on regarding like racial race and social injustice, etc., okay? So, yeah. What did you say? Hi. Jean Capdeville, hello. What is this? Is this FaceTime or YouTube? I'm confused. Hi, Facebook. McDonald, hello. Oh my God, thank you, Tony. Tony, guess what I'm making today? I'm making soft shell crab and over some sauteed spinach and Malbec. See, I think I just did something like that. I drank some hair with my mouth. Never made soft shell crab before, but I'm gonna get it right. So let's take a few minutes before I get back into the follow-up of the story. Let's take a few minutes to just figure out what I'm gonna do with this soft shell crab. Anybody, if you have ideas, please feel free. Lennox, hi Lennox. If any of you have ideas of like what we should do with the soft shell crab, let me know. In my mind, I almost want to like flash fry them, kind of like a lobster tail that chops lobster bark, clean the innards, and you will be fucked. Tony, you are the ones who like don't eat the inside of the lobster. That's the best part. Let me tell you something. What I will not do is clean the inside of the crab. Okay, that's the best tasting part, Tony. So like I said, I've never made these before, but I've already like washed the outside of them. I am not going to clean the inside of them. That's the best part. So ladies, whatever you do not clean the inside, period. The legs, the lungs, we're not cleaning the lungs up. We're eating them. What do you mean? All right. So let me think, what should I do? I'm thinking that I should, let's get a bowl. Yeah, let's prep them. Let's get a bowl. Let's get another bowl. Going to do a little bit of flour. I want a flat bowl for that. I need to prep this in 2 minutes and decide what it is that I essentially need to do. We're gonna do like a liquid thing where we're going to like dip, and then we're gonna do like some flour. We get some flour with the flour. guys. I'm gonna get a little bit of flour. Okay. Thank you. Put a little bit of flour. I think that's enough flour. Woo! Flour all over me. All right, flour. I would say we put a little bit of salt in this. A little bit of salt in this flour. I would say we put a little bit of a desi herb spice, which is just some herbs, and a little bit of more salt. I say we add some paprika in here. Okay, bam. That's like this. I like this. I like this a lot. What other? Nothing wrong with garlic. There's a little garlic in our powder. Okay, bam. Oh yeah, I like this. And then that's gonna be our powder. Okay. So maybe powder. Beautiful. I don't know if I want to go with the egg. Should I go with the egg or just water and ice, then powder it? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Oh, I'm about to sneeze. The powder's in my nose. Excuse me. Allow me to wash my hands. All right. One of my favorite things to do when I cook is wash my hands. We touch so many things, we do so many different things. It's so important, especially when we're cooking with other people or cooking for other people. Wash your hands every second you can, okay? I decided I'm going with the egg. Bam. Let's go with the egg. So we're going to do an egg in here. What else, guys? Oh, I was cooking. I forgot to tell you you're cooking. Okay. We go with the egg. I want to do a little bit of, let's see. I want to put a little bit of garlic in this. Then a little bit of, where's my paprika? Bring back the paprika, just a tad. Okay. I'm going to put a little bit of salt. And, all right. Let's take that. Alrighty. Shake that a little bit. Oh yeah. Savannah Salon, how are you? We're cooking and having a really deep discussion, guys, about racism in the school. And like I said, in a few minutes when I get this prepared, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what happened to my child, to my meeting child last week. And oh my goodness, woo! It's been a lot. In fact, today I had my requested meeting via Zoom, so I'll tell you all about that, and I'll share the email that I sent to them in response to her response on why she denied Aaliyah as appropriate to use for my daughter's wax museum project. Shamika, the loss. Hi, Mackenzie. I'm making soft shell crab cake, guys. People who just tuned in are asking me, I'm making soft shell crab cake. Never made it before in my life. I'm pretending I know what I'm doing, but you know, I'm a cuisinier. I'm a chef, renowned Mushiya, a la Mushiya so. I want to put a little bit of water. Why? Because I want it to be a bit looser. than the regular egg, just because I don't want it to catch a lot of flour. I don't want it heavily. There's my belly laughing. I don't want it heavily breaded. I want it like lightly breaded. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is, since I've never done this before, I'm gonna actually test one. Let me use a small pot. I'm gonna test one. And then after I taste it, I'll be able to be like, oh my God, it needs more salt, or oh my God, what did I do? Or, oh my gosh, this is nasty. Let's see. In a smaller pot, put this on the stove, get my oil, drop my oil in it. Voila. And let's let the oil heat up. Woo! Ah! Yes! I'm already excited. Why am I so excited? So anyway, so for you guys who are on like my Instagram, the show is really, really happening where you can actually see the stove and me simultaneously. It's on, where is it on? YouTube, Facebook?
Facebook,
okay.
The Damn Salon.
Facebook, The Damn Salon, and what?
YouTube, Mushiya.
And my YouTube, Mushiya. Okay, so eventually that's where you guys will always tune in, because that's where you'll see all angles of everything that's happening here, okay? So, I'm gonna do a tester real fast. Can somebody remind me in 3 minutes, because I don't wanna leave my oil burning, okay? In 3 minutes, I'm gonna actually test this. All right. Marissa Black, hello. Hi, gorgeous people. Okay, so to properly brief you, my daughter had a wax museum project. Wax museum project, they told her to choose somebody. She chose Aaliyah. She goes to school, the teacher says, no, Aaliyah is rap, and that's not good. Rap is bad, choose somebody else. When my daughter came home, she told me what happened, and the same day, they also had a conversation about Black History Month, and many of the students said they didn't understand. Many of the students agreed with the teacher who said to the students, I don't know why Black History Month exists. If Black History Month is going to exist, then so should White History Month. Oh, needless to say, I was super heated. So I sent a very, very, very relaxed email, open platform, and said, hello, hope you're having a wonderful day. Because I was denied using Aaliyah for her wax museum project, I just wanted to know why Aaliyah was denied. She sends me a message saying that Aaliyah was denied because Aaliyah left no positive, Aaliyah was not, left no positive legacy, and she was also married to R. Kelly illegally, to the point where her parents had to annul the wedding a few months or years later, whatever that was, and that she was inappropriate for those reasons, and in a Christian school atmosphere, that's unacceptable. Now, I want to tell you something really, really important about this whole situation. The template for the Wax Museum project featured Elvis Presley. So their example of what the project should look like and what you should write in the description, what they did, how they, what they won, what they left to the world, who they were about, they did it on Elvis. So every child got a sample of the actual project, and it was featuring Elvis Presley. When she sent me this email, needless to say, the fire that I was on when my daughter told me that her teacher did not allow her to do Aaliyah, I now became a volcano. My daughter is one of the only Black people in her class, and one out of maybe 10 Black people in their entire school. All right? So there was a predominantly white school, private, that I pay a lot of money for. So after she sent me that email responded with an email of my own. Oh, she makes the laws. You're not even ready. So I'm going to read to you guys my response to the teacher who said my daughter could not do Aaliyah because Aaliyah is rap and rap is bad. And also told my daughter that I don't understand why Black history exists. If so, white history should too. So let me check on my oil, and I'm going to read you my response in a few minutes. Okay. I told you guys to remind me of my oil. It's super hot. All right, so we're going to do this. We're going to dip this in here. Bam. All right, great. And then I'm going to lightly dip this. I'm going to lightly dip this. I don't want this fully brightened, okay? We're just doing a tester for now. Okay? Lightly dip it. Take out as much breading as I can. And I'm gonna go ahead and okay? I'm gonna dip that a little bit. So we wanna just test it since, I've never done this before. So I'm just testing it for now. So as you guys can see, I kept the recipe super simple. I knew what I was gonna do, I just had never done it before, but I had an idea of what I was gonna do, okay? So we're gonna let that simmer for 1 minute. Then we get a fork. And do we have our guest on yet? Is our guest on yet?
Yeah, he's in the green room.
He's just ready to, he's in the green room? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I bring him before the email or after the email? He's already read the email. Okay, perfect.
He's listening.
Okay, awesome. All right. So, let me get to the plate. I'm about to read you guys my email response, okay? And then after this, I'm gonna open this up to like a bigger problem that's happening in today's society. Woo! Charlie! Charlie! Who is Charlie? Yeah, I'm gonna give it 2 more seconds. I'm later on gonna probably make a spicy camelage, but for now, I'm gonna do like a balsamic vinegar. Okay? Oh yeah, baby. Okay, I'm gonna taste it in a minute. However, I'm gonna get to the email right now. I know you need a plate. All right. So is everybody with me? I want you to really, really pay attention to this email that I sent in response. Just be ready. So here we are, okay? Hello, Pretty in Pink. So I said, good morning. Thank you for responding to my email. Your guidelines for the Wax Museum project states that the students must choose someone who is no longer living and is left a positive legacy. Per your guidelines, my daughter fittingly chose Aaliyah. You advised my daughter that she could not use Aaliyah because Aaliyah is a hip-hop star and hip-hop is inappropriate, and that Aaliyah did not leave a positive legacy. The above was reinforced in your email to me where you stated Aaliyah was married to R. Kelly at the age of 15 without her parents' consent, and that her lyrics are not appropriate, and I quote, especially in a Christian school setting. The template of the Wax Project you handed aside featured Elvis Presley as the prime example. Elvis Presley was a pedophile. At 21 and above, he had a plethora of girlfriends ages 14 and 15. At 24 years old, he married Priscilla, who was only 14 years old at the time and continued to have other underage girls through his entire marriage. Not only did Elvis have a sick habit of raping girls as young as 12 years old, but in 1973, his own wife divorced him for spousal rape. Throughout Elvis's entire career, he had underage girls in his bed. In the case of Aaliyah and R. Kelly, Aaliyah was the victim, whereas Elvis Presley was the predator himself and had raped and abused over dozens of underage girls. Per your Wax Museum guidelines and per your own words, it is blatantly implausible that you should choose Elvis Presley as your model example. In fact, it is hypocritical, to say the least. However, it is a very known fact that the rape culture in the United States often excuses and turns a blind eye to white male rapists, especially those who are famous, allowing them a jail-free card from rape and pedophilia. Not only have you exemplified the above culture, but you unfathomably accepted a predator as an icon while blaming and shaming a 50-year-old victim for marrying a predator without the parents' consent. I highly doubt that Elvis requested nor received his or his victim's parents' consent to rape 12-year-old girls, which is absolutely not appropriate, especially in a Christian school setting. As a Christian, we are taught to respect our body as it is God's gift of physical life to us. Not only was Presley a serial rapist, but he consumed and abused drugs his entire career. Not only did he die at 42 from drug overdose, but he lived years of his life wearing diapers because his immense drug obsession destroyed his health beyond repair. In addition to his own self-destructive abuse of drugs, he dispensed drugs to others, causing many of his associates and groupies to overdose. That can be considered murder. He even attempted to murder his physician, Dr. George Nicopolis, with a pistol when he refused him drugs, a crime he was never prosecuted for because he was the king of rock. Aaliyah neither took drugs, nor committed attempted murder, nor dealt drugs, nor raped a soul in her entire life. Elvis is guilty of all of the above. This is absolutely inappropriate, especially in a Christian school setting. White America titled him the King of Rock. It is arguable that his title is undeserved. Most of Presley's songs that catapulted his career in 1955 were written and sung by African American musicians who, because of their skin color, were not previewed to the same national platforms as Elvis. Songs like Memphis, Tennessee, Too Much Monkey Business, Johnny B. God, Maybelline, The Promised Land were all written and sung by Chuck Berry. However, they gave the songs to Elvis because his white skin would allow these hits to reach a wider audience. Meanwhile, he was quoted to have said, "The only thing that a black woman and nigga can do for me is shine my shoes." Aaliyah, on the other hand, contributed and redefined rhythm and blues and hip hop with original music performed by her. Your email made mention that Aaliyah's lyrics were inappropriate. Allow me to quote some of Elvis's lyrics. "I hear you're pretty good at running, but pretty soon you'll slip and fall. That's when I'll drive you home with me, girl. I'm gonna chain you to the wall. You know I'm looking for you, baby. I'm not gonna take it. I ain't gonna take it laying down. I heard that you were cooking, baby, way on the other side of town. I got a dirty feelings going on." The above lyrics were written by two white men, Mike Stroller and Jerry Lieber, who were in true testament of who he was. Elvis sings of dragging a girl home when she slips and falls, only to chain her to the wall before he has her way with her. That's abuse and sexual assault. That is absolutely not appropriate, especially in a Christian school setting. Not only was Aaliyah a very accomplished singer, actress, and model, but she was dedicated to helping women through various charities, including, but not limited to, Alzheimer's Association of Los Angeles, the Johnson's Cancer Center Foundation, the Step Up Women's Network, the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer, and I go on to list a whole bunch more. And the list continues. Her mantra was her value for love and peace. Per your guidelines for the Size Wax Project, she is absolutely appropriate, especially in a Christian or in any good-hearted and human character setting. Mistreatment. This is bigger than the school project. With all due respect, I am appalled that you as an educator took the time to research Aaliyah in an attempt to prove her inappropriateness and support your uneducated statement that hip hop is inappropriate, and did not think to educate yourself on the model example of Elvis Presley, often referred to as Elvis the Elvis, for his habit of over-sexualizing everything. While I am sure you do not call yourself a racist, the behavior that you are displaying is a cognitive racial bias behavior called Cornish bias, a concept introduced in 1920 by psychologist Edward Thorndike. This is when an individual focuses on one particularly negative feature of a person or group and attributes it to the entire person or group. If we all embody and display this type of behavior, then it would be fitting to say that based on the person that Presley was, rock and roll is bad and inappropriate, or perhaps white people are bad and inappropriate. Not only is this not appropriate, especially in a Christian school setting, but this type of behavior is detrimental to our society and yet deeply exists in US society. Kasai advised me that your class had a Black Lives Matter discussion yesterday when you stated that you do not understand why Black History Month exists and that there should also be then a White History Month. I pray that she misunderstood you, and that was not your fault. White history is every month. The history of white people has been well served, and there is no shortage of that history anywhere. As long as white people control the narrative of the education system, white people will prioritize their own stories. But it is a known fact that the history of Black people has been immensely underrepresented. Many accomplishments and inventions of Black people have been hidden by the face of a white person because of racist times. Black History Month is implemented so that Black people can be celebrated because for many years in America, they were not. You are a woman. In the past, women have been abused, discriminated against, and underpaid in the workforce just for being women. Therefore, the Equal Pay Act of 1963 was implemented to require companies to hire a certain percentage of women and pay them rates equal to men. Is there a need to establish a law protecting men in the workforce? Absolutely not. And it is not because they are not equal. It is because their rights have always been recognized. In the same manner, White History Month need not be implemented, not because white history is not important, but because Black history has been undermined for years and needs to be celebrated and protected. I am from Africa, the origin of mankind and civilization, and knew this from Haiti, the first Black in any country. I do not celebrate Black History Month in February. I celebrate it every morning. I have the privilege of knowing and understanding that my history extends way beyond slavery. I am the template. We are very proud of our Blackness and celebrate it with every single breath we take, every single decision we make, every single education we implement, every single word we say, and every single person and influencing entity that we surround our children with. It is our expectation that when we pay this private school to pay you to educate our children, that you uphold and respect our diversity, our culture, our Blackness, our accomplishments, and our phenomenal icons, and our phenomenal contributions to humanity. Thus, I will proceed to do the Wax Museum project on Aaliyah, and furthermore, I request that Elvis be removed from the model example for the project, and that he be removed as an option for any of the children to use. As per your guidelines, he does not meet the standards, and per your own words, he is not appropriate, especially in a Christian school setting. This is the second time I have sadly had to address a severe situation of discrimination in school. I have paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to in the past 8 years. I never, ever want to ever have to address a situation as such again. I am highly disappointed as I hold this school to a much higher standard of conduct. I also expect an immediate face-to-face meeting with you and the principal to address my concerns in detail. I thank you kindly and in advance for adhering to the above. Respectfully, Mushiya. I will now, that being said, bring on my guest. Miles, Mr. Miles, how are you? I can't can't hear you. I can't hear him. How am I supposed to hear him?
Oh, goodness.
Do I have to have an earphone?
Let me, like,
My volcano is erupting as I'm bringing back the emotions that this whole situation.
He's muted. He got
all right, so can you hear me now?
I think you are muted.
What about now?
I think you are muted, sir.
No, like, I just,
I don't hear him.
Give me a second. I'll bring it.
what about now?
So while we're waiting for him, Mr. Miles, to come to into our live, her response to this email was the date of when we can meet, and that was it. And when we thought of this meeting, which happened this afternoon, actually, a few hours ago, they asked if I wanted to say anything else and elaborate on the email. I said, absolutely not. I said everything that I need to say. I need to know what you need to respond to me. And I was so disappointed, guys. I was so disappointed. I met via Zoom with both the teacher in question and the principal, and I was so disappointed. This was her opportunity after I educated her to realize the wrong that she had done and acknowledge the mistake that she had made, because when one acknowledges such a mistake, they can then fix it and let you know that I'll be more conscious for this not to happen again. This teacher continued to defend herself, really, and was more defensive than apologetic or understanding. And it was very, very saddening to me, because you really can't change what has been embedded and implemented through years of raising in these people. So what do, right? What do? Because we're thinking and trying to send our children to the best schools, and it's a private school, and the private school is not always going to be hot for diversity, right? Because the way society, economics, and finances are set up, our community is less able to afford these private schools. So we end up being in a school where diversity is also very low, right? Almost like you gotta pick your poison. So this is really, really deep for me, because I know that you guys have, in your own lives, and you guys can type about it or talk about it, have experienced situations where you feel as though your child has been discriminated against. What do you do? When you speak up, you're punished for it. Makes everyone afraid to say anything or fear of losing their job. Speaking up is not an option for me, or not speaking up is not an option for me. I will speak up, and we have to speak up, because too often in these type of situations, too many of us are passive about it, or passive aggressive about it. Speaking up is not one thing for me to go to speak up. I'm going to educate you. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to educate you about your psychological problem. You know? Because it's a psychological problem. That's a psychological problem that she may not have known that she has. And as recent as today, in our conversation, she said, I didn't say all rap is bad. I said some rap is bad because it has a lot of inappropriate stuff in it. Really? Mm-hmm. Really? Because it's a psychological problem. That is a psychological problem that she did not know that she had. And as recent as today, Wow. Are you serious, Michelle? So one of my viewers just said, when you speak up, you're punished for it, and it makes everyone afraid to say anything of fear of losing their job. And she said, because I said, I speak up. And she said, I agree with you, but you're an entrepreneur with your own business. You can afford to speak up. I couldn't afford to speak up, but I did, and now I'm unemployed. Jesus. That breaks my heart. Is Miles there? Oh my God. Oh my Jesus. Jesus, what have I done here? My God, this is so bad. Yeah, bye. Oh, it's succulent. I'm gonna eat while we wait for Miles. So, woo! I don't know if you guys can actually like. Sarah. Mm, 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 mm. There are people out there who will help with that. Did you contact NAACP? Don't give me ideas. Oh, Michelle, I'm so glad you're drinking with me. Miles, where are you, my guest? Where are you?
Are you there? Okay. So,
Audio interference as well. Check your mics. Oh, check my mics. Oh, I have to be on this? Got it? Hello? Can the people hear him?
that should do it, yeah.
Sarah, hello? Can I see his face?
I will bring in.
I actually can hear you, I just can't see you yet.
Phenomenal. Like, we don't get to have our parents react to this educational system the way you did in that format. Absolutely phenomenal. Allow me to even thank you even more for allowing me to watch the response from the principal and the educator who has your child or your children in their care. And one of the things I would suggest is the entire conversation that you have with the principal and the teacher should be made an entire series so that you address step by step every moment of their capitulation to their whiteness, to their defense of their culture, to their defense of their so-called inability to see that they're offending you, not just one, but oppressing your children, not just two, but also ensuring that they represent white supremacy in its fullest, three. They did everything they can, not just to support their reasonings for doing everything they could, but they also ensured that they will further do the same thing over and over again if you don't say something like you did.
Hold that thought for a second. Lou, apparently I'm the only one who can hear him. Do you know that?
No, I don't know that.
Lou, do you know that everybody's telling me that they can't hear him? Facebook, can you guys hear him?
I can hear him on Facebook.
Oh, you can hear him on Facebook. I know why they can't hear him. It's I know why they can't hear him. It's Instagram that cannot hear him. You guys, we're on Facebook Live on the Dance Salon, and we're also on YouTube. Where?
Put it on speaker.
Put him on speaker. Got it. Put him on speaker. How do I put him on speaker? Because what you're saying is so important. Okay. 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 I feel like they should be able to hear me now. So, Miles, come again.
Yes, I'm here.
Miles, go ahead and speak. I want to see if we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
I'm here. I'm here.
Yes. Miles,
Yeah.
I know you were just talking about how you were super elated about watching a Black parent respond in the manner that I did, and I thank you for that. And if you could just go ahead and carry on again.
Yeah. And sometimes, well, oftentimes we need to give, flowers where they're deserved. And you and your husband, I applaud the both of you for the conversations you had with the principal and the teacher. The essay that you wrote in order to address I don't identify it as what we call in our culture white supremacy. There is no supremacy that comes from whiteness. That doesn't exist. The only thing we're dealing with is aggression. You're talking about a people who find a need for survival, and in their survival, they're going to attack anybody that comes in close proximity to them. That's all you're dealing with. It's not white supremacy, it is European aggression. But we can have a different conversation on that. Your husband and you and your ability to have a conversation with the principal of the school and the teacher who suggested, of all people, Elvis Presley as a modus operandi for like the ideal self other than Aaliyah. All they're doing is attempting to ensure that their culture is supreme. That's it. There is nothing more left to the conversation. So what you all did, I applaud you. The letter that you wrote, I applaud you. There are not many parents who have the ability to speak the way you did or the wherewithal to do it. Oftentimes we send our children out to our enemies' camps to tell them and educate our children and send them back home to us with all this information that tells them that they're illegitimate or less than who they really are. And we send our children out there on a regular basis into those institutions and say, educate our children, make them better than what we left them or what we sent them out to become. And they come back home and they distraught. Because what they're learning is their inferiority. What they're learning is somebody telling them that they're not as good as somebody else. And you addressed it.
Forgive me for interrupting you. I have so many questions for you. Like, I just have so many questions, right?
Yes.
You have, so the first one I want to ask, I want to go back to the fact that you said that so many parents are afraid, or cannot speak up. And I just had a viewer say to me that I'm an entrepreneur and I'm able to speak up because I have my own business. What are the parents who feel like they cannot speak up because they're afraid to lose their job? And if they lose their job, they're losing their livelihood to support the very children they're trying to protect. How do these people work through these situations? What is the solution for them?
Okay. One of the things I suggested to you, like, no conversation is simple. Everything is nuanced. Everything is nuanced. So I don't want to address any situation as to address everybody in a totality. Nobody is the same in every situation that we find ourselves in, right? But there are parents who, one, don't know that they have the ability to address the school system. There are parents who understand that if they don't send their children to school every day, they can get locked up. That's colonialism. That's the colonial system saying, if you don't send your children to our institutions, we will imprison you. Didn't you understand that fear inside those people? We will take your children from you, if you don't send your children to our institutions. That's one situation. Another situation might be those parents who work so much so that they don't have the ability to actually address what's going on inside the schools. Another situation. Another situation might be parents who like know the way you do, but they don't have the ability or the wherewithal to say, I need to address every single element of European aggression, or what we call white supremacy, to say that I need to say that my child is not going to be subjected to that. So there's so many different reasons why we don't talk to the institutions that are supposed to educate our children. So I don't want to address it as if there's this blanket answer. Every individual's like reasoning for not understanding why they have a right to decide what. And this is what you did. This is what you and your husband did. That's so brilliant. You have a right to decide. And this is what I think the reason why you need to put the conversation you have with the principal in the forefront. The principal tried to deny you this right, but you have every right as a mother. Your husband has every right as a father to determine what their children are being taught in those schools. You have every right to do so. He suggested that if we had every parent coming in here telling us what we should teach our children, stop that, dude. No, we do have a right to tell you what you be teaching our children. Why? Because we are part and parcel to what? Who or you getting paid, number one, the institution being in effect, number two, we pay the taxes that allow the institution to be built. So yes, we have every right to determine what our children are being taught. Every single parent has a right to say, I don't want my children being taught a certain thing in the school. Watch. I can give you too many examples where European parents decided, even with the testing system, I want my children to opt out from being tested. In these high stakes testing situations, I want to opt them out so they're not judged when they go to college. If they get to do that, don't you as parents in the so-called Black community get to do that? Not only do they do that, they literally get to determine what's going to be taught in the schools. They're on the school board. One of the reasons why oftentimes we don't have a say-so as to what our children are being taught in those schools, because we're not on the school boards. Right here in Fulton County, the majority of the people, and this is a predominantly so-called Black community, majority of people on the school board are European women. Why are European women deciding what our children are being taught in our schools? Because we're not taking the position to say we're going to take those elected positions in the school board to say we want our children to be taught certain things. Everything that we're having a conversation about, we can solve ourselves, and you give a wonderful example of how just addressing the situation. When I'm watching the principal attempt to address you, listen to what I'm saying. He's attempting to address you. Do you see the nervousness in the voice? Do you see like the cowardness in his position? Because the position can't stand when a parent stands up to the fact that you're not allowed to teach my child outside of what we desire them to be taught, what we teach them at home. You're not going to give my child Elvis. You're not going to give my child this rapist. You're not going to give my child these ideals of white supremacy. You're not going to give my child that. I expect you. In fact, wait, what you said, I demand you to allow my child to learn what they know or what they're learning from home, be part of their cultural and educational background. You are a wonderful example. Your husband is a wonderful example of how every parent should take charge of their children's education. Your video,
you have a unique perspective on, or unique feelings on even sending our children, period.
Oh, yes.
these institutions that are programmed to, as you say, teach our children inferiority. So I want you to expound a little bit on that. And my second question to that would be, should we agree with you, then where do we sit that to?
Oh, word. Like, look.
What is this? What is the solution?
Again, there is no singular answer. Everything is nuanced, right? But I would start with the idea that was given to us by our ancestor. Only a fool would send their children to be educated by their enemies.
Sorry, only a fool would send their children to be educated by what?
Their enemies.
God.
If you send your children to be educated by somebody whose construct is to destroy you, what do you think is coming home to you? Who do you think is going to come back into those doors when you welcome them at home? If it's somebody, except for somebody who was trained to hate themselves. When Malcolm X was making that statement, he was suggesting that we are sending our children out to be educated by somebody who was attempting to destroy us. Like, who do you think is coming home to you? So the answer to it, again, it's all nuanced. The first answer, and I'm not like applauding you more than you deserve. The answer is you and your husband. The answer is the education of all of our children begin in the home. It doesn't begin in those educational systems because all of us don't have the ability to ensure that those institutions are going to guarantee that our children will get the education that they deserve. Or in fact, the true word of what education comes from is a Latin word that comes out of Aramaic that begins with the word educate. Educate means to bring out what's already inside of the individual, not to put something in. Studying or being studious or going to be a student means to put something in. But when you educate somebody, you bring out what's already inside of the person. That's what you do with your children now. You bring out the best qualities in them. When we send our children out to those institutions, we want those institutions to bring out the best of them out of them. But sometimes, oftentimes, most of the times, they put information in them that send them back to our homes, and they're coming back with regurgitated information that's only going to destroy the family. So, first step first is be like you and your husband. Educate them at home. Give them what they need to understand who they truly are at home. If you don't know, link with somebody who do know. If you really don't know how to educate your children, link with somebody who do know how to educate their children. Admire a peer or friend or family member who's been like showing you how wonderful their children are at home, and you see the best in Black life or Black children at home, and link with them so that they teach you how they've educated their children. And then create those communities around each other before you send them out to these institutions that are constructed where almost 92% of all educators or all teachers in our school systems are European women. What? They're not from your community. They don't know you and your children. They don't even talk the way you talk.
Now let me ask you another question. You said that, right? So you're saying, which I understand, like it's so hard when you're sending your children into an institution that really doesn't understand your community, your culture, your background, your spirit,
Yes.
So
that spirit, that you.
Right? But Dr. Miles, my question to you is that then you have other schools, for example, where they're predominantly Black, let's just say, 95% Black, and they're in like the inner city, that's what you call it, the inner city, where where everybody in there is Black, including all the teachers and so forth. But the teachers, let's just say, are underpaid, right? And so because they're underpaid, they're really kind of not being as invested in the education because they're thinking about how they're going to actually feed their family because they're going to teach these children and they're not getting enough money, or they're going to teach these children. And because a lot of these children are in inner cities and exposed to certain things, the school, they spend most of the time maybe disciplining the children rather than educating the students. So you're in a situation now where you are in an institution with your own community of people who understand your culture, your spirit, your music, your whatever. But 90% of the time is spent disciplining the children because most of the children hardly have time to be disciplined at home, not because their parents don't want to discipline them, but because their parents are stuck because of the system are stuck working 4 or 5 jobs to keep them even in the school and put food on the table, right? So it's almost like,
where did we win? Where did we lose?
So what do we do?
Okay, so I never like using me as an example because I'm not a monolith. I'm not. My experience, I'm not a monolith, meaning my experience is not universal, right? But there's this wonderful book, and we're coming at the end of what we call Black History Month, right? Black History Month was started as Black History Week in the 1920s, 1926 specifically, by this gentleman named Carter G. Woodson. Carter G. Woodson wrote this wonderful book called The Miseducation of the Negro, and he was talking to us, right? And in that conversation with us, he was suggesting that the educated Negro is oftentimes the most diabolical source in order to affect the worst things that can happen to Black children. I went through almost 27 years of education. This is my experience, not somebody else's. I went through almost 27 years of education in European institutions. And I promise you, when I first started teaching, I was speaking the best of the King's English. I was teaching like the Canterbury Tales using the Old Norse and Ushin figures. I was speaking in this Old Norse language thinking that I was being a really good educator. And I ain't know nothing about Black life. I ain't know nothing about Black children. And the first time I went into a Black community in order to educate Black children, I thought I was coming there with the King's English. And I failed those children. I failed those children because I didn't really understand the conversations they were having amongst themselves. I didn't understand, even though I come from that same community, I went to a school system that taught me that there was something wrong with my people, that they weren't learning correctly. We can be educated in the best institutions and still not understand how to really teach our children. And our parents can go through 12 years of academia, 12 years from kindergarten to 12th grade, 13 years actually, and not understand that everything they've been learning was geared against themselves. It was structured so that they don't even know who they really are as a people. That's important to understand. Why our people are where they are is because who educated them or how they're getting access or how they have access to education. So when I realized I was teaching wrong, when I realized I didn't know what I was talking about, even in teaching English, I had to go back to the hood. I had to go back to my community. I had to be re-taught how to see my people. And I promise you, in understanding that who we are, we're just different than other people. When we are acquiring or understanding who we are, there's something that's more than just what the school system is going to teach us to who we are, teach us as to who we are. There's a little bit more to who we are. Now, I want to answer your question specifically, but it's a nuanced question because we can't blanket everything all at the same time in one answer. I was wrong in my like first thoughts of how I need to teach Black children English. I was wrong in thinking that I can go to an inner city community and tell these Black children this is the proper way to speak English, and every which way that you're speaking English is incorrect, right? And then I was taught that these young children speak Ebonics, right? They even gave us a word to describe the way that which we talk. That none of those things are truisms. English isn't a language that can be written in stone to suggest that it can't change, it can't evolve over time, that another group of people can't take this language on and allow it to evolve itself. The same way for our children, the same way for our parents, the same way for the parents who are in these communities who don't know how to address all the issues that their children are having in our school systems. Oftentimes they just don't know. Now, what the answer is, I'm gonna go back to this. When you don't know, you gotta be willing to accept the fact that you may not know, and then link with people who do know, because they will link you to other people who know even more than what they know.
Well, hold that thought there. That was a good way to like conclude this. This has been like super, super, super interesting for me, Dr. Miles, and like I'm really, really excited, and I've come to the realization that this conversation has to continue. And
Wow.
I'm short of time right now, but I definitely want to bring you on. And I didn't even have the opportunity to speak about your current program that you have right now for Black students, a tutoring program, which I would like for you just to quickly just cover that and then when I bring you back on, we can go deeper that. Please just tell us a little bit about that program as well.
Yes, so I'm the founder of Academy 13, the Imhotep College of Young Scholars. Right now, I'm starting off as a Saturday program where I actually teach young children at the kindergarten age. So if you give me your baby at the age of 4, 5, and 6, at the kindergarten age, even pre-kindergarten, I can get your child to reading at a 3rd grade level before they enter kindergarten. How we teach our children to accept language is very, very important. And I promise you, like if I had a little bit more time, I can show you why the school system creates what we call ADHD, attention deficit hyperactive disorder. I can show you how even in their acquisition of language creates these things in their minds. My goal is to get our children when they're young. Either way, let me make this quick. I have this Saturday program right now where I'm doing it online. So if you want your child to be enrolled in my, and it's free, important. And no pay right now. Like I want your babies. I want to show you I can teach your children to read before they start school. I can teach them the Alephs, or what we call the alphabet, and I can have them reading before they enter kindergarten, because learning to acquire language is the most important thing that our children do by the time they're age of 2. And if we can have them with the ability to read, open a book on their own, and read words for themselves, what you think they're gonna do by the time they enter 1st grade? Yo, you about to create a science.
I love that. Dr. Miles, that's amazing. And people are asking how they can find you because they've heard this, and if they want to reach you, Dr. Miles, please indicate how they can reach you right now.
Easy. Send me one email, LLWMiles, LLWMILES at outlook.com. Send me an email and I will enroll you in my Saturday class with my students, and I will have your children. And I'm particularly taking children who are about the age of 4, 5, ones who have already acquired language, right? Like I might be able to get maybe a 3-year-old who's talking well, but 4, 5, 6 before they enter preschool or kindergarten. And I can guarantee you, give me a couple of weekends with your babies, and your babies should start being able to write their own name, be able to sound out words, even understand the Aleph, what we call the alphabet. and they can start reading so that by the time they enter what they call kindergarten, whatever they call it in this like Germanic, English construct, your babies will be able to navigate that system on their own.
Please give your email again to us.
LLWMILES at outlook.com.
MMW.
LL
LLW.
MILES
MILES.
at Outlook.
At outlook.com. Yes, that is it. And somebody, by the way, just said he's so awesome. And somebody said, what's his name? I see Dr. Miles. I need his name immediately. So, his info immediately. So, and what Dr. Miles is talking about is super important, because I've been asking this whole time, what are the solutions? These are the beginning of the solutions, right? When we can be educated by dedicated and genuine educators of our own. And Dr. Miles did not tell you, but his goal is to open up a school, essentially. So this is just the beginning. So
yes,
that's super amazing. And I love what you said about how these little young children can learn to, you'll teach them how to read before even kindergarten. I know that for a fact, because my firstborn son learned how to read at 3 years old. He turned 3 and he could read full sentences, because I started reading to him and teaching him how to read at 2. And one day I went to school and they kept telling me, well, that's not the time, the lunch is like 5. Oh, no. I said, listen to my baby. Listen to my baby. I said, tell me what that says. I opened the book and he read page after page.
Yes.
In the class.
Yes.
It was like, it's not, children are like flowers, I don't even know if that's the best analysis, but as long as you water them, they will grow. There's no time period to water them or feed them or nourish them.
Thank you.
They learn to be smart at 5 or read at 7 or walk in.
Nope. There's no time frame.
Into them.
And the structure of Academy 13, it starts off at kindergarten, but I can almost guarantee, knock on wood, I can guarantee before your children enter 8th grade, they can enter collegiate level courses before they finish high school. That's a guarantee, because curriculum matters, but also seeing that our children are far more than the age grade system that they put on our children. Age grade means nothing to learning. It means nothing at all. When you give our children the right resources, I promise you see their genius, and you shouldn't be surprised. You come from pyramid builders. If you get that, you started off school in order to become pyramid builders, and now you start off school to get a job. Stop that.
Right.
Stop that.
Okay, hold that thought for another day, another episode. I'm super excited. Do I need to fry some more into this finish? Do I need to do that? Huh? I gotta do it, right? Guys, I need to fry one more. It was super tasty. I want to, Mom, stay right there. I'm about to fry one more. It's going to take 2 seconds, but this is what I promise I will do. So
what are you making?
So I'm about to put one more of these amazing shimbas for 2, so that me and Luke can both eat. Let me put the stove on real fast. I'm so excited. This was like such a wonderful conversation, and so necessary. But anyways, guys, my crab that I ate while Dr. Miles was talking, I couldn't really express to you how good it was. So if you guys want to repeat this at home, you absolutely need to, because the succulentness in this crab was, just to die for. So I'm about to do 3 real fast. Ooh, Charlie! Oh, this is so good. Oh my God. It was juicy. And I don't know, this person told me to clean the lungs. Don't ever clean the lungs of the seafood. Don't clean the brain stuff. It's the best part of the lobster. It's the best part of the soft shell crab. So, oops. My electric water is not working. There it is. So, you guys know I rarely ever put things in bowl. I usually have a sauteer or a boiler, not like a fire.
You help. This is not bad. You know, we're making it light and so forth.
It's kind of like a really sexy relationship. I'm doing it
this way.
And then I'm going to saute some spinach, and this time
I'm going to go over the better spinach. You know, you go around to the
right through,
because you take right your stuff and you know.
you're asking for all
Diseases.
you're doing yourself.
Make it easier.
I'm getting knowledge I'm done. Okay. It's not hard. And it's so much healthier.
Easier. So,
Yeah. You just
let me just
do you have your glass? You know,
No, it's a glass of water.
oh, you fire. Fire. It's compulsory. Show.
I apologize.
Now you know, right?
Now I know.
It's compulsory. You must have one.
Yes, ma'am. Got you.
Every Wednesday night. So hold on. Let me just put this in the world. Yes, yes. Mom,
And while Mushiya is doing this, like, let me reiterate. I would love for anyone who has children or don't have children and they have a family member. For anybody who has family members with children, ages of, because I trust you, Mush. Like I trust like whoever like who's listening to your website or listening to your program, like they're your people. So
Yes.
I want them to be willing to be okay with contacting me, saying like, I would love to see what your classes are like. I would love to see what it looks like for you know our children to enroll in your Saturday class.
Absolutely.
Allow me, and it's online, so I'll send out the links for the online sessions. And on Saturday afternoons, your children will just simply come in online, and I'll show in the previous session what you might need in order to have your children participate in the class. And you won't have to spend a lot of money, small notebook and everything else to have your children start practicing so that they acquire the rudiments for practicing this language. And I can almost guarantee, not almost, I can guarantee if your children participate long enough, we can have them reading before they enter kindergarten, before they enter that school system. One of the major issues for our children not passing from grade to grade is their ability to read. And if we can teach our children how to read early enough, the rest of the school system becomes very, very easy for them. And that's the major goal.
I love it. I'm super excited. And we're gonna go ahead and also post our contact in this caption on all the different platforms that we're live on. So if no one can read this or review this, where they can read, where they can reach you. And I know that there's a lot of parents who would love to send their children to that, especially what you're doing is amazing and that it's free right now. I can't wait till you get amazing sponsors to sponsor you. But
yes.
Can you see my soft shell graphic? Can you see it?
No, like the pots, like are not on view right now.
Don't worry, I'm about to put it on the screen. Hold on. It's coming on the screen. Do you see it?
Yes. Not inside the pot, but I can imagine.
I can hear you. Hold on. Oh, yes. Soft shell crab. Come through. Put a little bit of lemon in here. Bam. And then I'm going to do a little bit, as I said, the spinach. Just going to saute the spinach. I love my spinach very lightly sauteed. A little bit of pepper flakes to create some heat in there. We're going to put a little bit of salt, not too much. We don't want diabetes. Diabetes comes from salt or is it sugar?
Sugar.
Sugar? Oh. high cholesterol, whatever that is. Woo! Yes! Yes, spinach! Put that in there. And blah. Okay, take it. Put it in there. Blah. Amazing. Let me saute this fast. Oh, yes. Come through spinach. A little bit of herb in it.
There you go, come through. Here we go. Turn on the side now. I don't want to overcook my spinach. I'm literally just sauteing them for the bedding. We're gonna just do that right there.
And Mush, like soft shell crab, you can eat the whole crab, right?
What is it?
Soft shell crab, like that's the one you can eat the entire thing. You don't have to break it open.
Hold on one second. Cut it close off. And soft shell crab. This side.
When you eat it, you don't have to break it open like regular crab, right? And
No,
pick out
it's a
the meat.
soft shell crab, which means that you can actually you can actually eat the shell. So I made a little like homemade remoulade sauce. Can you see this? Is the camera facing us? I don't think that. No, it's not. You can't see the food. I'm looking at the camera. But bring it down so you can see the food. So, oh, Facebook people. Hold on. There you go. Oh, there you go. So what I'm gonna do, I make a little homemade remoulade sauce. It's basically spicy mustard, hot sauce, capers, lemon juice, freshly diced garlic, a little bit of parsley, and I think I said mayo already. So we're just gonna.
That's almost not fair.
It's
Right?
really not fair.
I'm ordering more on this side.
It's so not fair because you have to look at it and you can't do anything about it. Okay, so I'm gonna do that, and then hold on, let me put a little bit on this right here, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the balsamic vinegar, which adds a nice tart flavor to it, and I'm just gonna kind of garnish it with it a little bit, garnish it with it a little bit, then chocolate, and then blue. I shall pour you some more. You shall pour I wanted to put like strawberries and blackberries for color. Look, come sit with me. Here's yours.
Here's your one, sir.
That's the part where I do nothing. And you just watch me eat. If you're alive, next up, okay? So, Lou is coming, guys. Oh, this is so wonderful. Really? Really, really? You want to sit? Sure.
All right, to both of you, I'd like to say salute, enjoy, and I salute both of you for all of what you've done for your children, and especially like coming to like not just a defense of your children, but demonstrating how valuable we are and what you did. Like my respect.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Y'all have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much, okay? So we'll see you on the next show. Well,
Yeah,
one of the upcoming shows, okay, Doctor?
please, please, please. It'll be my pleasure again, my honor to come back and celebrate y'all and of course, anyone who signs or has their children participate, we will want them to talk about like like how their children are progressing, which
Absolutely.
will be very, very important.
Awesome. Thank you so much, okay?
Thank you.
We'll
Thank
talk
you.
again. Have a beautiful evening.
You do the same.
Cheers. How do I end this? Eat. Isn't it tasty?
Yeah. Very good.
Mm-hmm. I've never made it before. This is so tasty, guys. Like OMG. Oh, yes. The lava week, baby not it's the last week it's on sale, okay? It's on sale for $75 off, so you may want to go to oneweekmonth.com. Really, I'm trying to tell you, all I'm missing is the tartness of strawberries and velvet. I did good, right? Mm. 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 Mm.
Really good.
Mm. You do the same thing. Mm. Mm. Sagai! Sagai! Come taste it. Sagai, you want to come taste? Just simply you got some nerve. You late? Sagai, come taste it. Do you taste the heat in your packet? What do I do? I put hot sauce? What do I do? Oh, you don't want to eat? Okay, no problem. My God. Mm. 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 So good. All right, my gorgeous people. Just be watching for Cynthia. Kiki, you want to eat it? You want to try some soft shell crab cake? I mean, soft shell crab. Come on, come try some. So, guys, sure, come eat some. I'm super excited that from Ghana. That's so exciting. Here, take a bite. Really? That's not a bite. That's a whole thing.
You like that today?
What do you think about it? Hmm? Serious, right? Oh, you want more?
What's that sound?
You like it?
It's good.
So good. Here. Oh, all right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to Damien. You don't get to say Happy New Year's to me, okay? On February 22 or 3rd or 4th, you get to say Happy New Year in 2022. You're fired from Happy New Year in me, okay? Happy New Year, Mike. Can I have some food? You're late, okay? You want some more, baby? You can have some more, baby. Fired. Okay. Yes. Oh, I didn't put a lot.
I like it, but I don't see it.
You don't see it on this one. Oh yeah, fire. Happy New Year. This, you're called on for Happy New Year, man. In January 3rd. Okay? Unless you're here, January 3rd. So good. All right, guys. So Mushiya Uncut. What am I eating? I'm eating soft shell crab. I made it for the first time today. I've never made it before, but I had a craving for it, so I made it. I just made it up like online, like as I was here, and I, kind of made up a recipe and.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, you can have as much as you want, baby. And this is how it tastes. Like, so good. Anyway. Ooh, Jesus, Malaye. Thank you guys for watching Mushiya Uncut every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Have your wine ready. Next week, I'll try to have my recipe ready in advance so that you guys can buy your ingredients and we can cook together, eat together, and talk together. Okay? So, stay beautiful, stay gorgeous, and don't let anybody in life ever. I'm out. Oh, stop lip reading then. You can't lip
I
read.
heard that.
You didn't hear anything, and no, you cannot.
I read that.
You cannot hear anything, and you cannot see anything. You are not a lip reader, okay? You didn't read anything. I didn't say anything. I said in life, don't let anybody mess with you.
Have a great evening and much love.